Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Washington back for another story. This week's story is called Stone Soup. Don't that sound yummy? I don't think so either. A stone is a rock. I don't think I would want to make a soup with rocks. All right, it's by Marcia Brown. And then take a look. This is something cool. This is a Caldecott medal. That means that this book won an award. So it's a really good book and it's well known. So here's the front cover of the book, Stone Soup by Marcia Brown. And then remember that first page is the title page. It says it's an old tale, so it's an older book. And the copyright page says to my mother and father, so that's the dedication page. And here we go. 3 soldiers trudged down a road in a strange country. They were on their way home from the wars. Besides being tired, they were hungry. In fact, they had eaten nothing for 2 days. I'm sure they are hungry. How I would like a good dinner tonight, said the first. And a bed to sleep in, said the second. But all that is impossible, said the third. We must march on. On they marched. Suddenly, ahead of them, they saw the lights of a village. Maybe we'll find a bite to eat there, said the first. And a loft to sleep in, said the second. No harm in asking, said the third. Now the peasants of that place feared strangers. When they heard that 3 soldiers were coming down the road, they talked among themselves. All right, so remember they're hungry and they're tired. So they're going along and all of a sudden they see these houses. So they know there's a town or a village up ahead. They want to stop in. But the place is filled with people that are worried and they're scared of strangers. So let's see what's going to happen. What are they doing? Here come 3 soldiers. Soldiers are always hungry, but we have little enough for ourselves. And they hurried to hide their food. They're not going to share, are they? They pushed sacks of barley under the hay in the lofts. They lowered buckets of milk down the wells. So take a look. They're putting the sacks under the hay to hide them. And then back here you can see there's a lady and she's putting the milk down the well so they can't see that they have milk. And here's another lady that's carrying milk. So they're not going to share. What are they doing here? They spread old quilts over the carrot bins. They hid their cabbages and potatoes under the beds. They hung their meat in the cellars. They hid all they had to eat. Then they waited. What are they waiting for? That's right, they're waiting for the soldiers to come and ask. And they're ready to say no because they said they don't have enough. The soldiers stopped first at the house of Pa and Francois. Good evening to you, they said. Could you spare a bit of food for 3 hungry soldiers? We have had no food for ourselves for 3 days, said Pa. Francois made a sad face. It has been a poor harvest. Oh no, did they tell the truth? We know they didn't. They do have food, but they said they haven't had food. The 3 soldiers went on to the house of Albert and Louise. Could you spare a bit of food? And have you some corner where we could sleep for the night? Oh no, said Albert. We gave all we could spare to soldiers who came before you. Our beds are full, said Louise. Is that true? No. Remember, they just had food that they put up. And then they covered their beds. What are the soldiers going to do now? You think they'll try another house? At Vincent and Marie's, the answer was the same. It had been a poor harvest, and all the grain must be kept for seed. So it went all through the village. Not a peasant had any food to give away. They all had good reasons. One family had used the grain for feed, another had an old sick father to take care of. All had too many mouths to fill. So, not enough for the soldiers. So, take a look. Nobody can help them. The villagers stood in the street and sighed. They looked as hungry as they could. The three soldiers talked together. Are they really hungry? No, they're not. We know that they have food, but they're scared to share. Then the first soldier called out, "Good people!" The peasants drew near. "We are three hungry soldiers in a strange land. We have asked you for food, and you have no food. Well, then, we'll have to make stone soup." The peasants stared. Stone soup? That would be something to know about. Look, they're shocked. They're like, "What is stone soup?" They've never had that before. "First, we'll need a large iron pot," the soldiers said. The peasants brought the largest pot they could find. "How else to cook enough?" "That's none too large," said the soldiers, "but it will do. And now, water to fill it and a fire to heat it." So the soldiers have said, "Okay, we need a large pot." So they went and found them a big, large pot. And now they're trying to figure out if that's big enough. Is it, you think, to feed all those people? We'll have to see. It took many buckets of water to fill the pot. A fire was built on the village square and the pot was set to boil. Boil means when the water starts bubbling up and it gets ready to put in your food. And now, if you please, 3 round smooth stones. Those were easy enough to find. The peasants' eyes grew round as they watched the soldiers drop the stones into the pot. I don't think I would want stones in my soup. Look at everybody gathered around. They want to know what the soldiers are going to do. Look at this. What are they doing bringing their stuff? I didn't think they had any. Let's read. "Any soup needs salt and pepper," said the soldiers as they began to stir. Children ran to fetch salt and pepper. "Stones like these generally make good soup, but oh, if there were carrots, it would be much better." "Why, I think I have a carrot or two," said Francois, and off she ran. She came back with her apron full of carrots from the bin beneath the red quilt. So remember when she hid them? Now she's went and got them. I think she might share now. "A good stone soup should have cabbage," said the soldiers as they sliced the carrots into the pot. "But no use asking for what you don't have." So remember, they asked for cabbage earlier, but they said they didn't have any. But we watched them hide it. And look, I think she went to go get it. "I think I could find a cabbage somewhere," said Marie as she hurried home. Back she came with 3 cabbages from the cupboard under the bed. "If we only had a bit of beef and a few potatoes, this soup would be good enough for a rich man's table." The peasants thought that over. They remembered their potatoes and the sides of beef hanging in the cellars. They ran to fetch them. A rich man's soup, and all from a few stones? It seemed like magic. I don't think the people realize that they are actually sharing their food because the soldiers are making it like they don't have it and then they holler and they run to go get it. That's kind of funny that they hid it and now they're going back to get it. Ah, sighed the soldiers as they stirred in the beef and potatoes. If we only had a little barley and a cup of milk, this soup would be fit for the king himself. Indeed, he asked for just such a soup when last he dined with us. The peasants looked at each other. The soldiers had entertained the king. Well, but no use asking for what you don't have, the soldiers sighed. So remember, they've already said they don't have anything. The peasants brought their barley from the lofts, they brought their milk from the wells. The soldiers stirred the barley and milk into the steaming broth while the peasants stared. The peasants can't believe what's happening. They're making this soup. But who's really making the soup? Who brought the stuff? They did. At last the soup was ready. All of you shall taste, the soldiers said, but first a table must be set. Great tables were placed in the square, and all around were lighted torches. So look at those big tables they have, lots of people. Such a soup! How good it smelled! Truly fit for a king. But then the peasants asked themselves, would not such a soup require bread and a roast and cider? Soon a banquet was spread and everyone sat down to eat. Never had there been such a feast. Never had the peasants tasted such soup. And fancy, made from stones. Looks like everybody's happy. They're getting full. Look, even that little kid is giving the dog some. Oh, look what are they doing now? Playing music and dancing. They ate and drank and ate and drank, and after that they danced. They danced and sang far into the night. At last they were tired. Then the three soldiers asked, is there not a loft where we could sleep? Let three such wise and splendid gentlemen sleep in a loft? Indeed, they must have the best beds in the village. They've changed their mind. Maybe the soup changed their mind. So the first soldier slept in the priest's house, the second soldier slept in the baker's house, and the third soldier slept in the mayor's house. So nice houses, not just a loft, they have a good bed to sleep in. In the morning, the whole village gathered in the square to give them a send off, to tell them bye. Many thanks for what you have taught us, the peasant said to the soldiers. We shall never go hungry now that we know how to make soup from stones. But did they really make soup from stones? No, they didn't. Oh, it's all in knowing how, said the soldiers, and off they went down the road. Did they trick those people? I think it seems like they did. It says such men don't grow on every bush. So not everybody is as tricky as those men. They knew how to get those people to use their food in the soup. And there they go. They're feeling better now. And here's the back of the book, back cover, and here's your barcode. All right, go complete your work and let me know if you need anything. Thank you.